Hello, my majestic little viewer, Little Elitist here. You've already read the title, but I still want to go over some stuff before we start. First of all, I'm just going to be ranking the Yes albums by how good the cover looks. This means that the greatness or the legendary status of the album contributes absolutely nothing to this ranking. As I aforementioned, just the album cover. I'm not ranking the albums by how good they are, because that will get pretty controversial pretty fast. But I feel like we can all universally agree that this is a bad-looking album cover. It literally looks like an Indian movie with a budget of $100. If you have watched this video, you probably are familiar with Roger Dean. If you don't know who he is, he basically made most of the Yes album covers, and some of these are amazing, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Well, that's about it. We can go ahead and start the video now. Like and subscribe if you'd like. Last place, it's gotta be Talk. Look at how bad this looks. What was the thought process behind this? You know those, black papers that you scratch and they show, certain colors? That's what this reminds me of. It's just not really that good of an album cover. We can all agree upon that. It was made to reflect the band's use of modern technology and digital recording. I also guess it's one of the first fully digital albums of the 90s. This released in 1994, so I guess this was pretty innovative for that time. Not the album cover. Come on, Peter Max. I have seen some of your works. You are talented. What was this? But yep, that's just going to be last place for me. Big Generator is up next. I don't know. It's not really that bad. Not as bad as the, other one, but this doesn't meet Yes standards. I do personally like the, sort of font and sort of creative font, I guess. But, other than that, it's just pretty bland. So they were trying to reflect on, the more modern stuff that they used in their music. Modern as in the 80s at this time. Other than their, more proggier stuff in the 70s. Not really that good, to be honest. Open Your Eyes by Yes is up next. I mean, yeah, it's also relatively bland. It's just their, symbol, but it's way larger than normal with, some random basic font just put up on the top. They tried to represent the new era, I quote-unquote, by making a more minimalist album art cover. In my opinion, I just think it's pretty lazy. Any album cover without Roger Dean is pretty generic, I'm going to be honest. Close to the Edge is up next. Now, this is one of the best prog albums ever made. Let's just be honest. Nobody has the guts to say it, but this is not really that good. I'm talking about the album art, no, by the way. The title track is one of the best tracks I've ever heard ever. I do sort of like the colors that they used for this. It's alright, I guess. I'm pretty sure this one was also made by Roger Dean. It was pretty mid. By the way, 90125 is between Talk and the other one, so there's that. It's the second to worst. Tormato is our next one. The album art for Yes in the 70s was a phenomenal run, but the thing is, this one's not really that good compared to the other albums that we had in the 70s. That I'll talk about later, of course. I don't think it fits the prime Yes quirkiness. I mean, the concept's interesting, don't get me wrong, but, up next is the Yes album. Now, this one isn't as good as upcoming stuff, but this is also pretty cool in its own way. I really like the eeriness that it comes with. Most of the other albums that I'm going to talk about are pretty aesthetically pleasing and a more, as I say, major. But this one's more minor, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's okay at best. It's just pretty monotonous. Not really what I expect in Yes album covers. I expect a lot more cool stuff going on, but that's another point. I don't know why that was so awkward. I don't know. Now we got Yes's self-titled. I didn't use the deluxe edition because there was not that much going on as this one, so there's that. This one's also relatively monotonous, but it's not really as bad. I don't know. I'll just put it here, just keep it at a buck. I do feel like this is a more safer spot to put this one. I don't know. I'm pretty mixed when it comes to this. More like a love-hate with it. Now we got Keys to Ascension the second. We are slowly getting to the better stuff, and I feel like this is the first trace of something that could be amazing. Sorry that I'm mispronouncing it. I'm just more used to Ascension than Ascension. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. This is the first time of me seeing this album's name. This album cover just has some sort of quirk to it. It looks like a Prime Day Yes cover, but it uses more like unique colors within, Yes album covers, because Yes uses more like blue and green and like brighter color. Well, I mean, pink is bright, but like, pink's like a really unique cover within Yes, I believe. I know there are a few other Yes albums that do have some pink, but unlike those, this is like the primary focus to the color pink, so I kind of like it. Fragile is up next. I mean, this is for sure their most popular record. I do really like the concept of this album art. It's just so iconic within the prog community, especially roundabout, especially in meme culture. Like, everybody in meme culture who's been around there for more than 10 years have heard that. This is a pretty cool album cover, but it's not as good as the other things that will come. Here's Keys to Ascension, the first one. Okay, yeah, this is really good, too. It also does have a certain 70s, Yes quirk to it. But the thing is, this came out in the 90s, way after the prime of Yes. So, yeah, I commend them for that. It is a little bit better than the second one, the album art is, but yeah, they're both relatively good. Especially with the other album covers that released in the 90s by Yes. Now we got Going for the One by Yes. Now, this is a little bit of a step back from 70s Yes album covers. This looks more like a city than nature, but I still commend them because this still looks really cool. I really like the aesthetic that it, has. And before you ask, yes, I blurred down the other part because it showed this man's entire, Now we have Time and a Word. I cannot show the album cover because I don't want to, because it does have some inappropriate, influences and elements. But other than that, I do like the checkered tiles within it, and it does have some sort of, I don't know how to describe it really, but yeah. I'm going by the deluxe edition, by the way, not just the regular one. The regular one is pretty generic, along with like the first two album covers from their debut. But yeah, this is all right, I guess. Fly From Here Return Trip is up next. This one's also pretty cool. Especially this came out almost 50 years after Yes's prime. I am not kidding. This released in 2018. So this is pretty cool. Is it me, or I feel like Yes album covers have gotten really good over the past 10 or 20 years. Like in the 90s, they were pretty floppy, just to say the least. But now today, they're really good. Now we have the OG Fly From Here. This one's a little bit better, but they both kind of look the same. There's not really that much to say about it anymore, so there's that. Now we have Heaven and Earth. What is that in the background? I cannot tell. At first I thought it was a moon. Now it just looks like a nuclear bomb explosion that took place in an ocean. I'm not sure, but it looks sick. Sure, this album isn't basically anyone's favorite. In fact, it's probably some people's least favorites. You gotta respect the album cover. It looks pretty good. And also, this is 2010s Yes, so just forgive them. They were way past their prime. By the way, the last sentence that I said, I'm talking about their music, not their album art. Their album art actually almost got better. Because as you can see, most modern day Yes albums are towards, the higher up stuff in terms of album art. Now we have The Quest by Yes. Now, this is very impressive, especially the year that this released. 2021. Yeah, you heard me right. 2021. This is a really good album cover. I mean, it's pretty detailed. There's a lot of different visuals and stuff to look out throughout this. I don't really have a problem with it. In fact, it's really good. This is one of the top contenders, too. But I still do have probably about 10 or 15 more. I don't know how much. That's just a guess that I have that are better than this. But yeah, it's still up there. Up next, we have Drama. Though the album art is amazing, it takes place in a sort of snowy biome. I'm more worried about the logo that the band uses currently. That is probably the best colors that they used. Like, let's be honest, it's like a pretty cool silver metallic and stuff. It's just cool. I personally enjoy that color more than the album art, but the album art is still pretty cool. I mean, the little animals at the bottom kind of bump it down a little bit, but not really that much. Not that significant or fundamental when it comes to that. But yeah, this is still a pretty good one overall. Now we have the ladder. Okay, so the logo that the band uses for their, they use colors in almost every single thing. This is not really doing it for me, but I mean, it still does get a pass because how cool the album art is. This feels like a poke at classic Yes, especially for releasing in the year 1999. I'm quite fond of it, to be honest. I'm sorry that sounded British or whatever, but I mean, yeah, it's true. Now we have Union. Now, this album cover is sick. It's not as detailed, but I do like the colors that it has. And to be quite frank, I'm just going to say this. The album art is better than the album itself musically. Now, we are all waiting to say that. Now, this is probably one of the worst Yes albums, like, in terms of music. But at least the album cover's cool, right? Okay, now here is Relayer by Yes. Now, hear me out. This is a really good album cover in terms of, like, storytelling. Like, I am trying to make a prediction on what is currently going on. I'm predicting that, I guess, a journey is going on because you can see, like, the horses while there's, like, something probably hunting them down, like that giant rattlesnake thing. And it also fits the album very well. I've learned to love this album over the week musically and this album cover. They're both like equally as amazing. I love both. Here is Mirror to the Sky. This is the second best Yes album cover, especially because it released 2 years ago. This is the most recent Yes album to be released as the time I am making this on October 23rd of 2025. This one also makes me feel the most emotion out of all of these because I do feel personally associated with this album cover for some reason. And it has been, in my opinion, one of their best album covers in decades. And I think most can agree with me. Alright, now the one y'all all have been waiting for. The best Yes album cover out of all of these. Tales from Topographic Oceans. Now, I'm not saying this because this is my favorite Yes album personally. I'm saying this because, like, remember whenever I said simplicity is sometimes the best? Well, this is pretty simple while also having some details, and I really like the aesthetic that goes along with it. I kind of appreciate it. The colors are also great. I feel like it's just a combination of all the great Yes album covers combined into one. But trust me, Mirror to the Sky was pretty close. I feel like this album cover also invokes like a sense of suspense, like what am I going to do or what is there after I pass this corner of rocks. I just really like that. Well, that's basically all I have to say. If you like this video, I have many others. And as I aforementioned like 10 minutes ago, if you have not seen my Roger Dean video or like any other artist, you can go watch that if you were interested in this. And you can probably learn a new thing about him. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, you can go check that out. Optionally, like and subscribe. That's about it. See ya. Definitely not a Moist Critical still.